And welcome guys to another little video. Now, I did release a video on a game server, a router, and what was the other one? Game server, router. I can't even remember myself. But anywho, for the router mostly. Oh, is a server, a router, or a backup NAS drive, networkly attached storage. Well, I could definitely say that I've got either the network storage or maybe even, well, the router part I did have working and things. I'm actually waiting for a network card, just like the one I've got. Now, I've got this question asked all the time and everything else. Why? It's simple. Because it's very robust for my build my own machine. I mean, who wants something that's like this, that sits in the corner, and it doesn't have very many features? It works, don't get me wrong. But then a little bit down the road, the wireless inside of it breaks down, or maybe it's those heavy nights where you're just streaming or something of that nature, and you're just getting owned when it comes to getting bogged down. You ever go on your network and you're trying to download something and then it all of a sudden starts going slower? Yeah, that's your router pretty much bogging down mostly. And I ain't gonna lie, it's freaking depressing, okay? Or everybody gets on your wireless network, and you got 3 computers on there, and you're like, holy crap, how am I supposed to get this to work, right? How's this supposed to work? Well, this box right here, this famous box here, will bog down, but is it really its fault? I mean, can we blame it? I mean, we didn't spend that much money for it. I mean, you could probably pick one of these up right here for what, $40 easy? So we kind of probably cheaped out on it, so it's not really our fault, and it did get the job done. Not as efficient as we like, but it will. And it's always debate about how fast wireless can go versus actual wired internet. I'm not going to get in that debacle because it's actually flawlessly getting destroyed when it comes to wireless to wired. Don't get me wrong, it got better and it's getting better, but you always have that security and all that other stuff, and bleh. Well, you can't really do too much when it comes to these. Okay, blocking rules kind of suck. I mean, you kick people off your network. You can do it, but it's not as intuitive. I mean, sometimes you may want a system that can connect to your network but doesn't have internet access at all. And you can't really do that with a consumer grade router because of just it's built to order. It's built cheap, efficiently, off the assembly line, and that's it. You're not going to have that $2,000 router options that's a Cisco one or whatnot, which would be really epically awesome. I would love to have one of those myself, but who's got about $2,000 or more? I mean, yeah, you could probably get an older one one that'll work for a regular consumer, but who wants to go through that hassle to try to find a good one on eBay? So brings us to our lovely setup that we were talking about before. Using one of these old hardware that's epically awesome that you can pick up or you may already have in the home. You're about to throw it out because it's not very good. It's actually quite terrible. But then you're like, wait, I seen a video repurposing what we have. Yeah, cool. So I can use this and it'd be more powerful than that $100 router that I seen down there at the store. Sure, it can be for reasonably priced. I mean, this model right here comes with a gigabyte LAN, a single one, which kind of sucks that it's a single one, but for the most part, I mean, can we fix that? Yeah, we can. I've got a Broadcom that worked in it. That was a single port, and I got an Intel one that I picked up a long time ago that has dual gigabyte LANs, and I put it in this computer and had 3 ports, and I put a second card, which was a wireless card, in it, and this thing was epically awesome. I mean, my download speed was a lot better, and I'm not gonna lie, browsing the internet was a lot better, and I had a little SSD in it, the one I'm running has a i5, okay, Intel processor. You can usually pick them up for like $40 if you wanted to. You could probably pick this whole computer up for probably less than $100 if you really wanted to. I mean, or you already have it. Most of the time, any Intel that's not been built like ancient times ago, I mean, something about 2015, more likely will be supported if it's an Intel. It won't be on the Celeron processors or something generic like that. But if it's an Intel i5, and I think some i3s may support it as well, because it requires an AES encryption built into the processor. It's because it uses it for do I want to explain it in the video? It's more or less a pathway. Just imagine a door that nobody can get into, without having the key, and that's basically it. Okay, it encrypts it and unencrypts it, and the CPU side very fast, efficient, because that's what it's built for. And that's basically kind of the soft view of it. Now, you're probably thinking, well, is my router the problem at my... No, your consumer grade router's probably just fine in some cases. If it's been getting up there, like in the years, like I've seen routers that have been in places where I went and worked at that were like freaking, I swear, probably 12 years old. It's ancient looking. I'm talking like dinosaur. Then I replaced it with a new one because for some idiotic reason, these guys think you can just daisy chain a bunch of them together like little small ones, like, oh, let's put this 8 port here, let's put this one in, this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what have you guys been up to? And, you know, maybe it's been that they've been, well, you know, basically growing and growing and growing, so they had to do something about it. Don't they chain them together like that? It makes it very, very difficult to manage. Especially, don't put a router on another router. It's pretty freaking silly. I mean, you could do it and everything else, but it's pretty silly. If you need more connections, okay, go get a router and then hook a switch up to it, okay, on one of the ports. Don't do a router on top of router, because here's what happens. You got to manage 2 routers, and it's pretty, okay. Get a switch, okay, a hub even. Don't do 2 routers. No, okay. Just my little rant there. But anyway, for the most part now, since we've established, now let's take a nice gander at the one that I built myself. Okay. Now, here it is. Okay. And we will see if we can rotate this. Can I rotate this? 90 degrees. Whoop. Okay. Center the screen. Okay. So, what you're looking at is my PSC router, my prototype. I mean, I'll probably do a different case and stuff like that. But what I did was I used the PCI, the white thingy. See if we can embiggen. I can't embiggen? Really? Are you serious? Embiggen? There we go. Embiggy. Alright. Sorry for the quality. It's not up to my standard, but, you know, it is what it is sometimes. The white one is a PCI, just a regular old PCI. I have 2 PCI Expresses. The top one, I believe, is a 2.0, and then the bottom is like a 1. But anywho, what I did was the Express one right there, the teeny one next to the battery, is a PCI Express little mini. I have a dual gigabyte one for that. The one you see on the screen right now is just a little wireless card that I had in there. I've also got a single NIC that I stuck in the PCI, the white one, as well. I have 8 gigs of memory in this machine, and the i5, okay, pretty much any i5 will be fine. I have the 3.4 gigahertz version of it, and basically this is a repurposed Dell. I have a SSD as well. I used a regular standard hard drive for the initial test before I went and got a 160 gigabyte SSD for this machine, and it's just because it's going to be processing a lot of stuff, so I wanted to just smash out it as fast as possible. And if any hard drive stuff is needing, then it will do it. It'll do it. The reason why I did an SSD is because I believe I was looking that there's a test server that you can do for a plugin and a lot of other stuff. And I plan on having speed as fast as humanly possible on that side. If it needed anything from the drive, I want it to go as quickly as possible because I plan on having this for quite some time. Now, the hard drive in the picture, and this is what I recommend you do. If you do a lot of experimental builds, like something like this, where it needs a hard drive, and you just want to test the board, what I recommend you do is go on eBay, go buy like a little 160, something that you can just install regular Windows on, and just keep that drive around, okay? Something that you can plug in. You don't care if it's super awesomely fast, but you just want to make sure things are, working. As in, like, hey, the video card posts, this and that. You can see the BIOS itself, but you also want to do a diagnostic. A lot of times, here's what I do. I'll install Windows on this, okay, and unlock, just a regular old Windows, and I'll have a program called Specky on. So, I don't want to take the processor off the board and then, clean it up and then repaste it because, that takes time. And time is money. It's just, time is money. And time is something that I can't get back, So we want to make it as efficient as possible. The memory stick, heck, you can pop out, that ain't no big deal. The power supply in this unit is only like 200 watts. It's got a CD drive, but it'll probably never be in use. It's got more than 8 USBs, so if I wanted to use like the USBs to charge something or whatnot, it'll be fine. And it pretty much has basically overkill in every aspect for it. It'll have more than 2 gigabytes, 2 ports of gigabyte LANs. So basically 2 ports that are gigabytes, so it'll pass through as fast as humanly possible on that front. I mean, unless we start getting gigabyte internet somewhere in the world, where I can download anything as fast as I possibly want, which right now for a regular person is probably no. But if you're doing a lot of, file transfers to your personal NAS drive or something like that, and it's on a LAN, and you're on the LAN, you can spit out that drive as really, really quickly. And your consumer grade router isn't probably going to be bogging you down because it's a PFC, a PFSense PFC. I don't know why in the world I keep saying that. Bleh. But it's going to pretty much scream down the throats of everything. It's going to go, hey, give me your files. Give me anything that there is. And boom, there you go. Is it overkill? Yes. Is it something that I'm probably going to be throwing out because there's no reason for me to have something this low grade in my house? Probably. But the thing is, the whole purpose of the video is to repurpose old hardware that we have laying around that's already compatible. This computer is doing nothing for me. Nothing. Like, I was thinking about, like those times where I do video editing and I want to, I've already got it all set up and everything else. And, I'm like, well, now it's got to, render out video footage and it's going to be slower than crud. Well, for the most part, I'm not going to like this because I'm sitting here on the computer. I want to do some more video recording, of just the raw files. Well, I can't do it because I'm tapping out my CPU to do this. Then I go on my personal machine that, you know, I play games on and chill out, and, you know, that kind of thing. And I'm like, man, this, you know, I'm not recording. And sure, I can reinstall something, you know, start recording on that machine. But you know what? Why do this? This is a very low grade setup. It's not, it's slimline, very small. It uses very little power. Why can't I just use this, put a little screen next to me on the other, you know, on a little tiny stand somewhere, and have the video footage be rendering out of sight and out of mind? I could do that. And, you know, if you're thinking, well, this is only going to be usable for PFSense now. No. This totally more useful. Remember that CD drive that I told you was utterly useless for this project? Well, you see that little tiny hard drive in there? All we got to do is swap out the hard drive. If we don't change anything else about the system, like the wireless or any of that stuff, all you gotta do is use a hot swap where the CD drive is. Now the PC becomes a basic utility. We could swap out the hard drive, put our game server maybe on, you know, install Windows again, or whatever you use to run your server. Maybe you're using a Linux version operating system, just basically a stripped down operating system for the environment. And then guess what? The network stuff is already set up. It's already plugged in. All we basically did was swap out the drive. Bam! It's doing everything that it needs to do again. We don't have to change out IPs. We don't have to do any of that garbage in the background. So now we got a game server and a routing thing that we can use this for. And then, which is pretty cool because, you know, I mean, granted, you know, the traditional, hi, I've got this box here connected and running for, you know, a router, but most of the time, I'm not going to lie to you, it's probably going to be sitting here doing nothing. But, you know, if you're just wanting the server just to run, swapping out the drive and doing a few adjustments isn't bad. Okay? It isn't bad. And it sure beats when you're doing testing and developing, going, hey, I have this huge setup that I've got 2 computers running now just for this stuff. Because if you're on a budget and you don't have very much money and you're trying to develop this on your own, a utility box like this that's set up to do more than one thing becomes super useful. Sorry about that. Ow, that really hurt. But that's my sense on the PFSense box. These are my specs. 8 gigs of memory, which, you know, just memory. And pretty much a basic computer. The only thing that's different is the LAN cards, which you can pick up yourself. It's not rocket science on that one. Maybe next time we'll take a gander at the web interface for PFSense. Maybe for the next video. And let me know in the comments if this is bringing you guys toward, hey, maybe I want to research and get into this. I would encourage it. And it's a pretty cool project. I mean, it's not like something that I would go, hey, you have to do. But you know what? If you're getting into stuff, you're doing networking, you know, another thing that I find that this is really great for is if you run IP cameras. RJ45 connected cameras up where you got Ethernet cables running everywhere. This right here would be extremely useful to use as a router, because video footage over the internet, very, very expensive, because a lot of times the camera transmits the raw footage to a box, and then the box compresses it down and sorts everything. But the router itself that handles the transmissions usually gets bogged down. So keep that in mind. So thanks for watching, guys. Peace out, everybody, and sorry for the loud bang. Hopefully it didn't destroy you guys' ears. But stay breezy and stay cool. And keep on trucking. This is War over and out, guys.